So somebody asked me recently about my compost, and I thought I'd do a little bit on that today. I have 2 compost areas, but I definitely don't truly compost. We could call this composting the lazy way. Maybe that's what we'll name the video. Composting the lazy way. So this is my first compost. Let's see if we can get out of the sun. And this basically, it had lattice around the whole thing, but some of it fell apart. But this is basically where I put all the weeds I don't want. As you can see over here, I put a lot of lily bulbs that I thought I was throwing out, and they've come back beautifully in the compost pile. But these are all the weeds that came out of the pasture, and because I compost the lazy way, there's no guarantee that the seeds will not germinate again. Actually, it's pretty likely that they will. So I won't use that. That's just gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, if anything. But I just pile on the leaves, the weeds, and I leave it. Next, I'll show you what I consider my real compost pile. And I do that the lazy way too. Okay, this is my second compost area. And this is the compost that I use in the garden. So if you look closely, you can see the majority of it is manure. And I do put both the chicken and the sheep compost together. Look at Papa Duck. He's not happy. I don't know what I think he wants out, but he's not coming out. So this compost is primarily manure. I clean the sheep shelter every day. And the sheep shelter is just manure and urine. I don't put anything down on the ground. It's concrete. There's a good amount of hay because they eat the hay and they drop a lot of it. And then this here is the chicken waste from their shelter. So there's a lot of rice hulls and feathers and manure. The rice hulls take years to decompose, but I don't mind it in my manure because it adds fluffiness. I don't know what you'd call it, but it keeps the manure from being too heavy and too compact. So it's fine. The feathers will decompose faster than the rice hulls. The chickens do go through it. So this, I still do the lazy method, which means I do not turn it. In the dry season, I do not water it. I just leave it alone. The chickens do scratch it all the way out to here. And every once in a while, I'll come in with a rake and a shovel and I'll move it all back. What you see on the second level here is where they had dug under here to get my compost for my garden. So the top layer is not decomposed, but once you go down, it is. The big problem with it, and what you really don't want to do, is you can see a lot growing in it. And that's because of what the sheep eat, and then it ends up here. So not a big deal to me. I do have to do a little more weeding in the garden than maybe I would have if I handled the compost correctly. But the weeding is nothing compared to trying to turn this compost for me. If I was stronger, maybe it wouldn't be as hard. But the guys don't normally have time for something like this, and I don't have the strength. So the chickens help, but that's the compost. One thing I forgot to mention about composting the lazy way is that sheep manure is cold and chicken manure is hot. So for those of you that don't know what that means, is sheep manure can go right on plants without burning them. Chicken manure should not. I've not had any problems in the past, although most of my compost is sheep manure. The only thing I put compost on directly, the only thing I put chicken manure on directly is last year on my nyame plants. When I dug them up, I buried the parts to regrow with chicken manure and rice hulls, but it had the whole dry season to go through, and then it would start growing with the wet season. I figured it was probably okay by then, but I really did it to give it a lot of nitrogen and a lot of the rice hulls to loosen up the soil so that they could grow bigger. So, and then I didn't dig most of them up, so I don't know if it worked, but the ones that I got were great. So I assume it worked, and maybe we'll know more this year. Maybe I'll do a better job. Okay, I thought while we were in here, I would show you the baby ducks. The baby ducks have been coming out of their room a lot. So I finally left the door open, and Mama Chick comes out. They're growing so big. She won't let me, or they won't let me get close. She's funny though. Now she will call them when I go in there, and they'll go running to her. But they're good with the chickens. The chickens leave them alone. They share food. They have food in there. I've got to come up with some better food dishes. So I stopped using the tires because every morning there were mice droppings in there. So I know the mice were getting it. So I started bringing out their food dishes, and I will put them back at night. And they do have some leftover food with them in the evening. And that might be getting eaten by mice, but I think it's less likely with 20 chickens in there for the mice to spend too much time. And I haven't been seeing mice droppings in there, although their food is completely gone in the morning. That could be them. With the baby ducks, I take their food out, but they make a mess, so they need I might just give them a dog dish. That's what these ducks have. And it's not that they don't make a mess at all. They do, as you can see, but it's much less, and it's mostly crumbs, and I have not seen, I take theirs away at night as well, and I haven't seen mice droppings around there. So, so they're doing well. I could let these two females out, but I don't want to leave the male by himself, and he is not good with the chickens. So, now I have 2 broody hens already in the room because they've been broody for days. And I have these 3 white. The brown one there is not broody. I know that for a fact. But these 3 white ones may be. And I'm giving them about a half hour more. They've been in here for at least 15 minutes. Some chickens will sit for a while before they lay or right after they lay. They don't rush to get up. But I'm giving them an hour. And if they're still sitting after an hour, they're going in the room. So I'm trying to not have broody hens. I think I have about 7 now that will go broody, which is a lot. Of my new hens that were born, I don't think any of them will go broody. So, and they're about ready to be moved over. I just want to band them because they look like a lot of my older hens, and I want to be able to tell them apart. So let me show you that. Okay, let me just show you the room that the chickens live in. Most of you have seen this. I have actually just cleaned it. It doesn't look clean, but they mostly use the restroom when they're roosting. They're mostly not in here during the day, especially since I've had so many broody hens that I've been closing up the door and bringing the broodies in here. Right now, she's broody, and they've both been broody for like 4 days, which is not way too long. But what I do in here, I don't worry about it being spotless. And again, the rice hulls decompose really slowly, so I don't like to use a ton of them. Unlike in the U.S. where you might use wood chips or wood shavings that decompose very quickly, and you'll clean the whole coop and start fresh, I don't do that. The chickens are fine. They're not in here that often, and where they are, they can find clean spots, and they pick at it anyway. So what I do is I clean up under where they've really made a mess, and I probably should have shown that to you, but it was gross. I mean, the poop was piled up pretty high. And then I sweep a lot of the other rice hulls that are dirty, but not that dirty, under where they're going to the bathroom most. So you can see that's got a lot of dirty rice hulls. And then this is cleaner. It's not spotless, but it's cleaner. And then what I'll typically do, but I'm not going to do today, is I'll put fresh rice hulls. I'll clean this up more and put fresh rice hulls here. But there seemed to be so much stuff from the rice hulls or small rice hulls that I'm just leaving it, and it should be fine. But typically about every other time I clean it, at least I will clean it really good, except for under the roosts where I put everything that isn't super dirty, and then I put clean rice hulls out here for them. And I did also just clean the other area. So that's going in the compost. That's the dirty stuff. Here are my rice hulls, ready just in case I needed it. And you cannot tell that I just cleaned this area because they're just a mess, but it was full of feathers. I think there's been some fighting going on back here between the two groups, but they'll work it out. They'll figure it out, and they're fine. I'm not too worried about them. And then let me show you last, just to show you, the puppies are doing great. Finally found balls that work for Lulu, and she's got her hand on it. I don't know if you could see that, but her front paw in the back of, not the one closest to us, but the one furthest from us, is resting on a ball. Those balls are great. If anyone needs to know exactly what it is, I can put it in the comments. But she had two of them, and one is missing, but it's probably around here somewhere. And then if you look at why their room is such a mess, they haven't wanted to go in their pasture. Another reason I think the lizard is back. So I have poop to clean up. But they were digging, and we re-cemented, and they dug up the fresh cement. So we put rocks down and didn't clean up all the stuff they dug up. I think they both dig. I can't blame either one of them. I think they both do it. But they're doing okay. They haven't wanted to go in their pasture, so they're getting 3 walks a day. They're enjoying going into the back pasture here with me, and eating oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank on what they are. The golden spoon, the Nancy tree fruit, the Nancy fruit. They love it. It's super sour. They like the really ripe ones, but even those are sour. Here they use it, I think they only use it to make chicha, but you could also make jam with it. I was going to collect it, but they eat it, the sheep eat it, so I've just let them all eat it. It's fine. I'm sure I'm going to get asked why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt in 80 to 85 degree weather. I wear long sleeves first thing in the morning because of the bugs here. So if anyone has lived in Florida, you know what the bugs are like in a humid environment. So early in the morning and late in the evening, we've got a lot of mosquitoes and just a lot of bugs in general. So in the morning, I always put on a long sleeve shirt. In the evening, I've just started to, and probably only need to do that for the first 2 months of the rainy season because the bugs kind of die down a little bit after that. The other reason is because I was doing the cleaning of the chicken area, and I just thought this way I could peel off my long sleeve shirt, put on a short sleeve shirt, and be a whole lot cleaner than if I was wearing a short sleeve shirt and had to scrub my arms. And, you know, I'll probably still scrub my arms, but still, it's just a little bit cleaner. Thank you for joining us this week. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to follow along as we homestead here in Panama, please hit the subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified when our next video comes out. We'll see you next week. Bye.